apathy, indifference, mediocrity, and dishonesty. All these characteristics seem to describe unpleasant creatures found in some fictional stories. Members of a civilized society would feel rejection for those ones who embrace these characteristics and make them part of their personalities. But what if the individuals with such habits were our beloved sons and daughters? Would it make a difference? And if so, what would be different? Our reactions? The so-called generations Y and Z experience one or more of these traits in a lower or higher degree. And the culprits of this situation are worldwide educational systems, parents, and teachers. I would like to share with you what I have experienced working as a teacher in Colombia for the last 15 years. The Colombian General Law of Education was enacted in 1994, with subsequent decrees that regulate and modify its clauses. One of them establishes that only a 5% of the total population of students in a school is able to fail a study year, and the other 95% are protected by the figure of automatic promotion, which means the student has the opportunity to approve all the mandatory subjects throughout an end-of-year makeup, being declared competent in an area. Consequently, two main results have sprung. First, universities have claimed they are receiving freshmen without the basic aptitudes to apply for professional education. Second, a less visible and more complex result is that nowadays teenagers and young adults have grown with a sense of not having consequences for their wrongful acts. An example of getting away with no consequences is found in the following story. On July 12, 2013, a 23-year-old man called Fabio Salamanca crashed his Audi to a taxi, causing the death of two young women and leaving the taxi driver crippled for life. He was driving at more than 90 miles per hour and with 3 degrees of alcohol in his blood, the maximum permitted level. 3 are some related incidents that may bring you to take a stand in the issue. The first one, Fabio could not attend the hearing 2 days after the accident, allegedly suffering PTSD. The second one, during the first appointment, one of the victim's father called Fabio murderer when he entered the courtroom, to which one young woman present among the public responded, "It was an accident. It was not his fault." Third one, we find that, according to that young woman and the judge that sentenced Fabio to only 5 years of home confinement that very day, Fabio Salamanca was not guilty of drunk driving, speeding, murdering, and permanently injuring other human beings. This distorted reality is the result of a lack of responsibility derived of educational policies that pretend to give the future generations the power to choose their acts and the consequences of such acts. The truth is, neither these policies nor the laws for the protection of infants and adolescents are able to modify a reality. These generations do not know how to cope with frustration. They do not know the meaning of the words failure and no. Today's adults eat what children decide to eat. Parents are the ones who have to earn their children's love and consideration, and teachers have to benefit from what the majority of the classroom votes for. On the other hand, there are those who advocate for the new generations due to the rupture of the family environment and the decrease of teaching values at home. These are the ones who admit the problem, but see it as a consequence of not knowing how to act righteously because there has not been anyone who tells the young people what to do. One example of this in the USA is the infamous affluenza defense allegation in Ethan Couch's trial in Texas in 2013. For those of us who do not remember the story, 16-year-old Ethan Couch ran over 6 pedestrians while drunk driving, killing four of them, and receiving 10 years of probation due to not having been taught the difference between good and evil at home. There is truth in that argument, although it brings about the solution. It is necessary to teach values at home, altogether with better and less patronizing educational policies. There is no doubt that our new generations are seen as people without fear, with better opportunities and with brighter futures. Hence, regulation should be a crucial part of educational systems in order to have professionals capable of enduring life's vicissitudes with stoicism and wisdom. And this is when we, all the people who have something to do with it, enter in the picture. Values, limits, and ethical behavior cannot be learned by people on their own, at least not without hardship. Those three aspects need to be taught at home, at school, and need to be reflected in educational policies. Let us take time from our daily errands to teach children about what's right and what's wrong. Let us forget about the excessive relativity we give to daily issues and take a side on righteous choices. Let us be an example of ethics and do not hesitate on applying reasonable discipline when necessary. All this won't guarantee our youngsters a life without conflicts, but it will guarantee individuals who know how to deal with them. Parents, teachers, and people in general, it's our choice.